Okay, so this is our weekly team call. Today is, what day is it? October 23rd. Can you guys believe that? Like, I keep having this moment where I'm just like, it's October, and then it's November, and then it's Christmas, and then it's New Year's, and I'm just like, I started hyperventilating yesterday. We were at the grocery store, and I saw like one of my favorite kombuchas makes like a holiday flavored called Holiday Cheer, and I was like, oh my God, Holiday Cheer is already here. What? Like, it's obviously already Christmas time, and it just motivates me and excites me because this is my favorite time of year. One, I'm like a holiday nut. Like, I just love Christmas in general, so I'm just a holiday crazy. But I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago, or I've talked to some of my personally sponsored coaches about this. This is my favorite time of year to go balls to the wall in our business because so many people stop right now. And you guys probably have heard me say this already, but I just want to like kind of remind you and remind myself, because it gets me excited, that there's just so many people right now who take their foot off the gas. And there's so many people who are like, oh, well, the holidays, I'll let my results slide. I'll recommit in January. I'll start this awesome challenge group in January, and I'll commit to my business and my goals then. But what I think, I mean, it's sad, but what's awesome about that is that means it's that much easier for those of us who don't slow down, for those of us who pick it up, and for those of us who are like, you know what, instead of letting that average 10 to 15 pound weight gain happen from all the pecan pie and cinnamon rolls and everything else that the holiday brings. I'm just a pecan pie person, so I'm always going to reference that. Like, I'm going to get the best results ever. And so it's funny because when I recommit to my fitness, because you guys, I'm not perfect. I definitely have, like, especially if I go. So for instance, after 80-day obsession, I was super stoked about Lift 4, and then I started Lift 4 and I loved it, but I'm one of those people who I can't have a cheat day once a week. It turned into like way more cheats than I should have been having. And that's like my personal thing. Like, I was talking to one of my other friends who's into fitness, and he's a guy, and he was like, yeah, I just can't have stuff in the house. And he's somebody who's like really fit and like actually has a problem putting on weight, but he's still like in health, which I respect. And he's like, I have like popcorn, and like that's like the junkiest food I have at my house. He also could use more vegetables, but that's another story. But I'm the same kind of way. Like, I can't have stuff in the house. Otherwise, I will eat it. I am the person, like, Dylan will have to hide it. Thank God he's tall and he can hide stuff from me, because I think he does. Because sometimes, like, I'll see him come into this room and like game, and I'll come in here and I'll have like chips or like a candy bar or something. And I'm like, where did that come from? And he's like, you don't need to know. I'm like, good, I don't. But then I like my inner binger, my inner sweet tooth wants to like go and search it out. So like, I can't know what's in the house. I always joke that he can bring home fruit flavored things. Like, if it's fruity ice cream, I don't want it. If it's chocolate, then there's a problem. But like, so when I first recommit, I struggle. I'm like, God, this sucks. This working out sucks. This dialing in my nutrition sucks. This like whole being healthy thing, man, it's rough. Man, why am I do this to myself? And then I get like a week in and I start feeling it. And then I can go to the grocery store and be like, I don't want that ice cream. I was actually really proud of myself. I was getting in bed early because, if you guys haven't known, Amber and I and Cal are doing like a miracle morning every morning, Monday through Friday. We're waking up at 6. We hop on Zoom. Here, there's a link at 6:30 to 7:30. So I've been going to bed earlier. We came home the other night and I was getting in bed, and Dylan texted me a picture of this frozen yogurt place that's down the street from us. And he was like, Sunny's ? And I was like, no. And I was proud of myself because I'm not one of those people who can go and get like the healthy. I'm going to load it with like toppings. And like, it's going to be like the $11 frozen yogurt from hell. That's going to be amazing. But you know what? I started feeling good though. I looked in the mirror that morning and I was like, you know what? I'm starting to lean out. I feel better because I have my nutrition dialed in. And even Amy, who's your guys' upline and my coach, She commented that day on she responded to one of my workout clips. She's like, I don't think I've ever seen you that lean. And I was like, thank you. Even though I know I've been leaner, like I know my body, but it like made me feel good. I was like, you know what? I did what you always said, which is like cut out the cheats. And here's the deal. There are even like healthy cheats. And I'm not saying you have to be one of those people 24/7, 365 days a year, but like, we all know, like I'm a kombucha person and my boyfriend works for a beer distributor who also distributes kombucha. So I love kombucha. I could drink multiple kombuchas a day and it's always in my fridge, but it has sugar and it has carbs and it does add up. And like little things here and there that we're like, oh, it's fine because it's healthy. Like I can say that so much because I'm paleo. I'm like, oh, I can find a paleo treat and it's healthy. And I'm like, it's a healthy alternative. But if I'm focusing on my results, that shit adds up. So those extra lattes, like I've let myself have one latte a week because otherwise I can just put in almond milk in my freaking black coffee or drink bulletproof coffee or whatever. Like all those little things add up. And I think it's like reminding yourself of that because it's easy to not and be like, oh, I'm healthy, but I notice it in my results. And so like dialing it in, once I start to like feel better, I'm like, yeah. And that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm like, yeah, girl. And it was just funny because I was thinking about that today where, cheese is dangerous. That's one of those things. Dairy in general is like super inflammatory. There's a reason why I'm paleo because my results go one way if I go that way. But I just like really want to remind you guys that not just with like your business activities, but really like challenge yourself this holiday season. And I'm not saying don't enjoy the holidays because better believe like we don't need the Halloween candy. I'm probably going to go trick-or-treating with my sister's kids next week. It's my nephew's birthday this weekend and I'm going to just be good. I'm like, I don't need the cheats. Honestly, this is what I like to think. And we're not going to talk all about fitness. I'm going to get to business, but it reflects on each other. But like, I think what's really important is like with food, and I'm sure you guys have noticed this, everybody gets caught in that instant gratification. Have you ever had to go like have a cheat? Like you're like, oh man, this pizza is going to be so good, or this bagel, or this, I don't know. I don't eat gluten. So I'm like trying to come up with things in my brain. It's really hard to find gluten-free bagels. This piece of cake, this cookie is going to be awesome. And then you eat it and you're like, that really wasn't as good as what I thought. And then if you're like me and it is gluten or dairy and you get sick 6 hours later and you're like, oh, I'm bloated. I feel gross. Like that wasn't worth it. But we get so caught up in like that instant gratification part of it. And like going into the holidays, enjoy the holidays. But the holidays like Thanksgiving, I posted this the other day and then I remembered Hanukkah is multiple days, but like for the most part, most holidays are one day. And so like treat it as such, like enjoy yourself on the holidays, but don't let yourself fall into that trap and decide now that you're just going to commit and go all in and push harder in your fitness, push harder in your nutrition, and just really give it your all. So when Form 20 comes out, like you'll already have great results and you'll be able to like get a strong test group going of participants and go even harder. Like it's just what you do now. And you're going to hear this so many times by so many leaders before the end of the year. You're going to be like, oh my God. But like what you do now really does dictate what your 2019 looks like. If you want to give yourself like pay raises, if you want to have a bang in 2019 with your business where you just see rank advancements and just you're like where you don't even recognize your business 6 months from now, it starts with what you do now. It starts with your fitness, because I can tell you guys so much like of your results dictate what you're doing mentally and what you're doing physically. And like you feel more confident talking to people about your challenge groups when you feel good about the work that you're putting in. First and foremost, like if you want rocking challengers, you need to be that challenger. If you want rocking coaches who like rock their results, you have to be that coach. So that's what I want you guys to remember with your personal development, with your invites, with all of these things. it starts with you. And especially in the time of year where people do half-ass it, like we have a good amount of people on tonight's call, and I really hope throughout the rest of the year we continue to have like a good amount, but people do drop off, and they're called what we call the fourth quarter quitters. And it happens every year. I've like, once you start to like build a team, and like I get coach cancellations from the entire downline. So any of you guys who have coaches who quit, like I see that cancellation too. And so like I already know the numbers since August have started going up like in our downline. And I'm like, Amy, you get so many. If this is how many I get, I can't even imagine. But don't be that person. Don't be that person who slacks off. Don't be that person who makes excuses. Don't be that person who decides to wait till January or quits or throws in the towel. Like, be the coach that you want to attract. Be the challenger you want to work with. It all starts with you and what you do, because people are going to do like a third of what you do, if you think about that. And so when I'm working my business and I'm like, oh, I should do more follow-ups, or I should do that. And then I try. I'm really good at talking myself out of stuff. This is something I've really had to work at since I became a coach, and especially being my own boss. Like, I had to learn how to stop talking myself out of shit, because I've been good at this forever. I've always been a procrastinator. I've always been that person. But when you're on your own boss, like, you can't do that. It's your business. It's your time. If you procrastinate, it's your paycheck that you're procrastinating on. It's your livelihood. It's your fitness. It's your health. And like, you just never know. So, you can't procrastinate. Like, don't be that person. So teach yourself like not to justify those things, and think about how this is what I do when I'm like, oh, well, I could send or like I should send more invites, instead of saying should, because you can just should all over yourself. That always makes me laugh. But like, be the person who gets into action. Be the person who doesn't say I should do this. Be the person who says I am going to do this. Be the person who says, I get to invite people to this. I get to follow up with people. It brings me joy versus, oh, I have to do more invites today. I have to follow up. I have to work out. Your mindset around your business is everything, everything. And it's around your fitness too. Like, it's just changing those little tweaks. And I already like notice it. Like, I've recommitted 110% to my personal development, to my fitness and my nutrition the past few weeks. And I just feel better. And I'm having more fun in my business because it's just a reflection of what I'm feeling internally. So if you're not having fun in your business, you need to ask yourself what's going on internally. Where is that disconnect? Is it your personal development? Maybe you're reading You Are a Badass for the 15th time and you're like, why am I not a badass yet? Like, I see coaches do this all the time where they read the same personal development. And I'm like, when I checked in with you last time, weren't you reading You Are a Badass like 4 months ago? Like, we need to fix this. Hopefully you guys are like reading or listening to 10 to 15 minutes at least a day. I would honestly say during the holidays, like, 10x everything you're doing. If you're listening to or reading like 10, 15 minutes, like do like 30 minutes. Wake up just that little bit earlier to like commit to that. And like change up what you're doing. If you're struggling in a certain area, like if you're struggling with procrastination, read or listen to the 5, I'm like going so a million miles a second right now. If you're struggling with like procrastination or getting things like finished, read or listen to the 5-second rule. Or if you're struggling with like action and like not doing enough, read the 10x rule. Like, always be growing and not doing the same thing. And this is a really big thing about personal development. Do not just sit there and listen to it. Like, I understand if you have no time and you're listening to it in the car or you're listening to it in the shower. I used to do really weird things when I worked at Starbucks, and I was like always listening to it at weird times. But you want to make sure that you're actually like taking notes and you're not just listening to it and taking it in, because like people know shit, but they don't do anything with it. Don't be that person. That's the same person who quits on themselves a billion times and who doesn't get the results that they want to get. Be the person to take notes. Be the person to put it into action and actually change what you're doing. And I was talking to Amber and Kel about this. I sometimes like, I read personal development books and I read all the business development books. And sometimes like it becomes like an echo. But here's the deal. If you start to think that, if you think that, I've been in this business almost 5 years. So, you know, I can think that because I've read a shit ton of personal development, but I'm still not as successful as any of those fucking people. Sorry for my language. But so until I'm not successful, I'm not going to like stop reading it, because obviously I'm missing something. Obviously there's still something to learn, to grow, to get into action. So you have to make sure, like, don't be one of those people. And honestly, if you're one of those people who's like, oh, this is stupid, like, you're just not doing what you need to do to get the results you want to get. And it's just having that like tough love with yourself. A couple of my coaches know this on here, but I'm pretty excited about it. What kind of like fired me up this morning was yesterday I got a copy of Rachel Hollis's brand new book. If you guys didn't see, Rachel Hollis is going to be the keynote speaker at Summit, which is really rad. I am a big Rachel Hollis fan. I love the book Girl Wash Her Face. Amber and I saw like a movie that she did, and it was playing for a short period of time. There were like 2-day showings or whatever. And it was funny because I was like, I really want to see her live in the next year. And then they announced her as a keynote speaker at Summit. I was like, shit, I manifested that. But then like a week or two after we saw her publisher reached out and was like, hey, are you interested in getting an advance copy of her next book that comes out in March? Girl, stop apologizing. And I literally thought it was a prank. Because like sometimes I'm like, is this whatever? And then this showed up yesterday. And it's pretty cool. I'm like excited about it. I still need to post about it. And I can post about it. I found out there was like this little note card that says share. But I'm like literally a chapter in and obsessed with it. And I took like 3 pages of notes this morning while I was reading the introduction chapter, because it's that good. It's all about goal setting and like really just diving into your goals. But it got me like really pumped up for this call and like ending October strong and just really giving you guys like an end of month push, but also like an end of year push. And so I think sometimes like one thing that she says in the introduction is just that like as women, we're like afraid of ourselves. And it's like not even just we're afraid of ourselves, but we're afraid of like who we actually are and what we're capable of. And I know for me, I've sabotaged my success in this business before when I start to see momentum in my business and then I'm like, oh shit. Can I do this again? Can I actually handle this success? Like, can I keep going? And I sabotage myself. And I'm like, nope, anxiety kicks in, fear kicks in. And it's like stupid because I'm doing awesome. But it's just that fear of success and that fear of owning ourselves or thinking that we have to fit like a certain expectation to be successful. And the cool thing about what we do is we don't. And I hope you guys remember that and like really come to terms with that, because oftentimes like I have moments in my business where I'm like, oh, I should talk a certain way, or oh, I should dress a certain way. Amber and I right now are hosting a coach workshop for you guys and ourselves. We called it this month Side Hustle to 6 Figures. I know it's linked in both of the team pages, so make sure to check it out and add people because we're doing all the work for you guys. But even this morning, it was funny because I was in my workout gear. And I was like, oh, I should change. I should put on real people clothes or like look more professional. And I mean, I ended up putting on real people clothes for you guys, but I didn't for the sneak peek because I was like, the thing that I hated about retail was I always used to have to wear a uniform. I was the worst person. Like I always tried to like sneak off parts of my uniform. My first job ever was a courtesy clerk at Safeway. And not only did I have a hideous, ugly black apron that I had to wear, but I had this obnoxiously orange vest because I had to push carts. And I remember anytime I was inside, I was trying to like sneak it off and like hide it. And one of my managers used to always be like, Caitlin, did you lose your vest again? And I'm like, damn it. But that was me. And like, I worked front of the house manager job at a bakery and I still had to wear an apron. And I'm like, darn it, I always tried to sneak that off. And then I worked at Starbucks and I was even training people there. And I would always try to sneak off my freaking apron. And I was supposed to wear a plastic stud in my nose. I only had one facial piercing back then. And I was like always wearing the thing. And I remember as I like quit Starbucks, I was training everybody and I just gave no shits. And so I wasn't like following the dress code very well. I'm like, do as I say, not as I do. But what brings me back to this is that like, I was so funny because I thought for this coach opportunity, video that I needed to do today, I was like, oh, I should look a certain way. And then I'm like, wait, half the reason why I love what we do is I don't have to follow anybody's uniform. And 99% of the time I am working with my hair looking like a hot mess and a high ponytail or whatever. I'm wearing workout clothes. Like, it's not like, that's real. I was talking to a coach. I'm in this 2-star push group with, well, I guess it's an elite push group. It's with other 2-stars in the Pacific Northwest. And she says, she tells her coaches, like, she works her, especially when she was a new coach. She's a mom of twins. When she started, she was looking for a job because her and her husband were on WIC. And they have some disability issues, and like, they just, like, her life was crazy. And she said she worked her business while she was doing her business in the bathroom. And that's what she always tells her new coaches, because we all know we do this too. If you don't do this, you are a unicorn. Before you go to the bathroom, you grab your phone, right? Raise your hand if you do that. I do that. I could raise 2 hands. I always forget my phone in the bathroom. Like, we all do it. So like, they're like, it's so funny because sometimes I do hear it from you guys. We're like, I just don't have time to work my business. Work your business while you're doing your business. Like, do it whenever you can, but like, don't make that excuse. Like, be willing to like think differently, do things differently. It just like cracked me up, and I wanted to share that with you guys because I was like, that's so amazing and so true. And something that I also wanted to share is like, get more creative with what you're sharing, because that's like what's relatable. So like, sharing about the uniform thing, I talked about that on my social media. I talked about that in the sneak peek because I was just like, that's relatable for me. And I actually did a poll, and I'm going to invite everybody to the sneak peek who voted. I was like, who can relate and hates work uniforms? And I'm going to invite all those people. And it's not a direct, like, it wasn't a question about coaching, but I'm like, hey girl, I saw you say you hated your uniform, and obviously, you know, I can totally relate. You should get in my coach workshop just to see if it's for you. I don't know. Like, I like working in my underwear or whatever. I don't know what I'm going to say, but it's not going to be anything crazy formal, you know, but, like, sharing small things. Remember, because something that, this girl, Jamie, also said, so she's Ashley Molsted's personally sponsored coach. And on that, like, she's sister coaches with Emily Favre. And like, she's like, I could compare myself all the time. And I could like, there's so much shit. But like, honestly, if I was a new coach and I saw somebody talking about being in the Million Club, and I don't know if you guys were on the team call a few weeks ago with Amy, but if somebody shared that they were making like $1 million in a year as a new coach, that wouldn't be relatable. It would almost be defeating. Because like, for me now, when I hear that, I'm like, fuck yeah, I will do that. I'm going to do that. Watch me. Like, that is so motivating. But as a new coach, when I was living less than paycheck to paycheck, and I was like, how am I going to afford my Shakeology, my business service fee? How am I going to afford to keep my phone on this month? That would have, like, would be motivating, but I'm like, that could never be me. But seeing somebody talk about paying their grocery bill, being able to shop at Whole Foods, like, that motivated me. That, like, being able to have that extra spending money to like go and buy clothing and not buy it from like Value Village or Forever 21 when it's like, because of the top is like $5, like that's the kind of thing that motivates me. So remember, like, share those small wins with your business. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be like something huge. I think oftentimes we compare ourselves. Like, I even compare myself to Amy and like her success, and it's like almost harder for them to share about that stuff because it's unrelatable to 99% of the population. So as newer coaches, as coaches who are just getting their businesses off the ground, like, your business is so much more relatable and so much more achievable to so many other people that people want those things. And so that's what I wanted to share as well. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. So something else Jamie said that I wanted to make note of, because she heard this statistic and then I looked it up. So it takes 33 different times for somebody to see, this is the statistic, it takes somebody 33 times for somebody to decide to commit to something. So if you're posting about a challenge group or posting about coaching once a month, that's only like 12 times a year. And it takes somebody 33 times to commit to like one thing, like seeing something in their feed, and you're like, man, I talked about coaching like 3 times this week. It was a lot. I'm probably annoying people. People probably think I'm like really annoying talking about my challenge groups like 3 times a week. And you're like, no, they need to see it at least 33 times. So don't think you're talking about it like more like, blah, blah. I literally can't talk to you guys. I'm like up here and I need to come like down here. We're not talking about it enough. That's what I'm trying to say here. Even me, who I think I talk about this shit all the time, every day, I'm like, I'm not talking about it enough if it takes somebody seeing something 33 times, like subliminal messaging, subliminal join my challenge group. Like, that's why coaches post in their stories every day about their workouts, about just little things about the coaching opportunity, whether it's getting on these calls, whether it is anything. And then out of that, like 1 in 10 people commit to a challenge or coaching with a challenge pack. So it takes 33 times for somebody to commit to something. And then 1 in 10 people who you talk to are actually going to join you with like a challenge pack. And that's a statistic I heard from corporate today, from my corporate mentor, Sydney. And I was like, okay, so I need to up my numbers. My team probably needs to up their numbers. Everybody needs to up what we're doing. But I just thought that was really interesting because, I mean, you know, we're just not like, we think we have these awesome posts. Even I do this. I'm like, man, I wrote this awesome post. Why isn't everybody coming and join me? Why aren't more people doing this? And I'm like, wait, I need to invite those people. I need to talk about it more. I'm not being annoying enough. I'm not showing up enough in people's feed. I'm not trying to talk about this in enough ways to enough people. Like, and I think sometimes we get caught up in social media and think that's the only way to run this business. My first year, when Amy told me that I needed to set a goal date to go full time and to put in my notice, which was not last October, 4 years ago in October, it was like 6 months from when I sat down with her and had my GSR call. It took me 4 months to have my GSR call with Amy. Please do not take 4 months to have a GSR call with your coach. Don't be what I was when I was a new coach, because I was not a great new coach, but I was persistent and I never gave up. So 4 months into my business, I sat down. She told me to pull my head out of my ass. She told me that if I wanted to be successful, if I wanted other people to treat this like a business, I needed to treat it like a business. And I'm like, ooh, that's a nice reality check. And then she told me I needed to set a goal date because I came into this business wanting to do this full time because I hated my job. I hated working retail. I hated the life I was living. I know this is not everybody's reality, and I'm not preaching that. Do whatever you want to do with this. Like, you are made for more. You are made to be a leader. You are made to have a life that is abundant, that where you are financially successful and financially stable and don't have to worry about money and like things like that. So whatever that is for you, whether it is working this full time, whether it is building it into a 6-figure business where you can just work your other job and have a 6-figure Beachbody business. That sounds pretty great too if you love your job. But like, you have to like set that goal for yourself and like set that date, whether it's diamond, whether it's whatever it is. So I wasn't talking to like enough people at all. And so what Amy used to make me do, and I say make, like she didn't make me, my dad used to, because I grew up, I have a little brother, if you guys didn't know this, and I used to always complain, Taylor made me do this, and Taylor would be like, Kayla made me do this, and my dad was like, Caitlin can't make you do anything. Taylor can't make you do anything. We can't make pigs fly, so nobody can make you do anything, but Amy suggested that I start talking to 50 new people a day, and I had like 300 followers on Instagram. My Instagram was shit back then, you guys. It was so bad. So bad. My posts were so bad. And my Facebook too. And I was so scared about posting on Facebook for my first like 6 months of my business anyways, because I was like, everybody's going to judge me. Nobody's going to think I'm a health and fitness coach, blah, blah, blah. Insert bullshit excuse. So I was like, I have to talk to 50 people a day. So what I would do is I would go into work early, and I worked at a Starbucks in the mall. And I'd walk around the mall. I was like a mall walker. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's like a legit thing. I can say that I worked at Starbucks in the mall, so I had to be at work at like 5 a.m. And there were these people every single day who would show up older couples, and like there were people in their 40s, but it was normally like older people, and they just walked the mall like in laps. It was astonishing. I thought it was like a joke when I heard about it first, but it's a real thing. So I was basically a mall walker. I would walk around the mall and I'd look for girls who I would like want to work with, or who I looked like I could be friends with. And I was really awkward. And I would strike up conversations with people. And when I got off work, I would do the same thing. And then I rode the bus. So I would get off work, and if somebody was at the bus stop, I'd strike up a conversation with them too. And one time I sold a challenge pack standing at the bus stop waiting for my bus, because I was like talking to this girl, and I was like, oh, did you just get off work? She's like, yeah, what about you? And I was like, I just got off my 9 to 5 at Starbucks, but I actually am a health and fitness coach, so I'm going home to work my business. And then she's like, oh, you're a health and fitness coach? I need to work on my fitness. Like, what do you do? And so I explained the challenge group. She's like, oh, and I explained like what I offered. And at the time, I think the challenge pack was like $180. She's like, that's really affordable, and I could cut out my daily Starbucks. I'm like, I don't care. I work at Starbucks. That doesn't hurt my feelings. Buy Shakeology. It's way better for you than your coffee. But so I sold a challenge pack just talking to somebody, and like I add people to my network. So don't get caught up right now, especially like we're at the end of the month, you guys. I really want to encourage you, whether it is 50 people or 20 people, like talk to new people every day. Like don't forget people outside of social media, the real people too. I talk to people in the grocery stores. I am like an extroverted introvert. I know I seem really crazy on these calls, but like sometimes I can be really introverted, and especially working from home now, it's like made me more introverted. But have to make myself get out of the house. And if I go to work from a coffee shop, I always end up talking to the baristas about what I do. And I'm like, oh, hey. And I like make, because if you're at a coffee shop, somebody's always an asshole. If you're at a coffee shop long enough, somebody always complains about their coffee to the barista, or always like makes something happen. It's like a guaranteed. And I always like make a comment. I'm like, girl, I feel you. I was there. And they're like, oh, what do you do now? And I'm like, oh, I'm a health and fitness coach. And then I'm like, you should learn more about what I do. You're adorable. You would be awesome for my team. And then I like add them on Facebook, and whether or not they get into the sneak peek or whatever, but they're like seeing my stuff. It's a prospect. It's a contact, but it's like remembering to not put ourselves in that social media hole. Amy calls it having a 3-foot rule. If somebody's within 3 feet of you and doesn't look like a psychopath, talk to them. Obviously, be aware of stranger danger. Don't be too wild about it, but put it out there. And I just want to share that because it's always a reminder, and it's something I'm even working on right now, is like talking to more people, making myself go talk to people. Dylan will be like, did you leave the house today? And I will actually say no, because I didn't. I was bad, but I was very busy and I had lots of calls, so whatever. But I want to ask you guys, like, okay, so I'm just going to read this part that I wrote down from the thing and then ask you a question. So you are made to be a leader. You are made to, what am I trying to say here? You are made to be a leader. You are made to change lives. You are made to be more than you are today. You were made to have and create your dream life. So like you are made for more, but like, what is your more? What is your more that you want? Like, what's your why? Why are you here? Like, I really want you guys to like connect with that daily if you're not already, because that is literally what's going to push you. It's about changing your habits. It's about letting go of your excuses, like getting real, 3 steps to success. Letting go of your excuses that keep you stuck. What are those excuses? What are those limiting beliefs that keep you stuck where you are, that keep you from being as successful that you want to be? It's like a tough love question. And if I was to ask myself, it would be my procrastination, or saying for a really long time, I was like, I'm too young. And now I'm like, that doesn't work for me anymore. I'm like, I'm 20. Because when I started this business, I was 21. And I was like, nobody in their 20s wants to do this. Everybody wants to go party and go to college and do whatever. I didn't go to college, but like, that was my excuse. And it's like, I can't be a business, or I couldn't be a successful business person. Like, we all have these stupid excuses that we make up. Number 2 is adopting great habits and behaviors that set you up for success, i.e. setting up a morning routine, an evening routine, making sure that you are getting in your invites every day. A great way to adopt great habits and things to do to move yourself forward is like using the business activity tracker. OJ, no. Sorry. Cat's being naughty. But like using the business activity tracker, getting on these calls, like what are habits in your daily life that will set you up for success in your business? Step number 3 is acquiring the skills necessary to create exponential growth. And so this, a skill set would be like talking to people about your business, would be inviting, would be sharing on social media. And I didn't know how to do any of those things when I first started. So those are all skills. Like time management is a skill. Even confidence is a skill. Like all of these things are skills, and it's something that you have to master. If you want to be your own boss, if you want to be successful, it's time to ask yourself what skills you need to work on. Maybe public speaking. That's a skill I need to work on because I can do these calls. I still freak out before everyone. Don't get me wrong. Like every time I go live, I'm like, I sweat. But like, you know, like ask yourself, what skill do you need to work on to help you be successful in your business? Because it's all skills. Self-confidence, talking, inviting, following up, like these are all skill sets. Time management. So 1, again, 3 steps to success in your business for the end of the month. So you can apply this to Success Club. Let go of excuses that are keeping you stuck. Maybe that everybody's saying no, that nobody wants to do it this month. The reality is you're just not talking to enough people. You're not talking about it enough. You're not following up with enough people. I really encourage you to follow up with everybody who you've ever talked to and more. Adopting great habits. So right now, what you can do to help get you into Success Club is 10xing what you're doing, upping your invites, upping your follow-ups, upping the amount of people that you're talking to and how you're talking about it. Maybe change your approach if what's you're doing isn't working. Changing your wording, changing what you're sharing, sharing more transformations, offering incentive, and then acquire the skills necessary to make exponential growth possible. So could be looking in the team files for the scripts and plugging into those invite scripts and share cart scripts and watching trainings. I wouldn't get too caught up right now in like watching trainings. I mean, thank you guys for being on this training, but it's like go time. We have 7 days left in October to make things happen. And I want you guys to really remember that Success Club is the non-negotiable for your business. Think about it like, thankfully, nobody can fire you. Like you're your own boss, but it's time to ask yourself, if you're not in Success Club right now, like that's the bare minimum. You would get fired from a job, a 9 to 5 or any job, whether it's 9 to 5 or not a day. But like if you were showing up and just doing below the bare minimum, would you get fired? Yep. I mean, I'm just going to nod and say yes. Like we all know it. So like decide to not be that person. Don't fire yourself from your own business. It's not that this business is hard, you guys. This business is simple. It's tedious and it is repetitive at times, but it's fun and you need to make it fun. If you're not having fun, then you're doing something wrong. And it first and foremost always goes back to your journey. And if you are somebody who's been struggling on your journey, if you haven't been committed to a program, if your nutrition's been sucking, use that to your advantage. Get accountable with people because people want real. People want relatable. So even though I'm talking about dialing my nutrition, I'm always talking about who I was before and what I'm overcoming and how I'm overcoming my limiting beliefs of like, I have to gain weight during the holidays, or I have to eat this way, or I have to think this way, or I'm allowed to talk myself out of this. I'm allowed to I'm allowed to self-sabotage myself. So get real and ask people for accountability. I was on a new coach call the other day. And she was like, well, I kind of just want to do a first program and like show people what I'm doing and then invite people to the next one. And I'm like, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to the people in your life either, because it's like your job to lead by example, also to have accountability. Like you don't want to quit. You want to prove this to yourself. The best way to do that is having friends to do it with you. So remember that if you're struggling, like get accountable, share it on social media, share that you're going to commit to a new morning routine. It's our miracle morning. Maybe you want to show up at 6:30 in the morning to do your workout or to do your personal development or do gratitude. We do like gratitude affirmations. And then we work, but you can literally do whatever. We're just on there for an hour and we're just here to like have a community aspect so we can all connect on a better, stronger level and see each other more. So I just wanted to share that. That's really tonight's team call, but I want to like drive this back for the first part of that whole like 3-step thing. If you're not willing to, or you can't recognize what excuses are holding you back, you're never going to move forward. Let's say that again, because I know I needed to hear that. If you can't recognize what's holding you back, what excuses or limiting beliefs are keeping you stuck, you can't move forward. And we don't want to be stuck. We all know we're made for more. We know we're capable of more. We know we can have very successful businesses, and we don't want to be that person who's stuck. So first, we're going to acknowledge and get rid of, like, let go of those excuses that are holding us back, because we don't want to be stuck. We're not trees. 2, we're going to adopt habits that keep us moving forward, and then we're going to acquire the skills that we need to make the growth possible that we want to make possible. So again, we have 7 days left. As I think it's like, if you count today, it's 8, but if you don't count today, I know everybody's different with that. 7 days left in October. There's plenty of time to make Success Club happen. I do want to like encourage you guys, pretend this week is the last day of the month. Pretend like this is the last day of the month now, and so you'll get it out of the way. And then you'll keep going, and then you're setting yourself up for momentum for November, and so you don't burn out, but so you have it locked in. Does anybody have any questions? I'll check the chat. I have it. Doesn't look like. Okay, I've got Miracle Morning and Get Over Your Damn Self. I love Get Over Your Damn Self as far as personal development goes, because it is specifically made for our business model. So I love it because it's very like action oriented and just no bullshit, and very applicable for what we do as coaches. So I highly recommend that book. And I want to say for the Miracle Morning too, if you don't want to wake up, like, honestly, I don't want to wake up. Like, I do. Like, I want to be a morning person, but I don't want to wake up in the morning. I'm doing this to like try to be a morning person, to be more productive with my day and all that shit. Real stoked about it all the time, obviously. But like, it doesn't have to be at 6:30. Like, I highly recommend Miracle Morning, because just having a strong morning routine, whatever time you wake up, whatever your day looks like waking up 30 minutes earlier to read some personal development or get your workout in, like, it just sets your day up for success, and you are more productive. So like, no matter where you are in your day or how that works, I highly recommend setting up a morning routine, just because it helps the rest of your day in general, whether it is that Miracle Morning or not. But thank you guys for hopping on tonight. I appreciate seeing all your lovely faces. And I just want to see you guys unlock all of your potential and see massive growth this last few months of this business and going into 2019. It always breaks my heart when coaches quit this time of year. And I mean, it breaks my heart all the time, anytime anybody quits. But all you can know is like, I believe in you. And I didn't believe in myself when I started, and Amy believed in me for me. But it's time that you start believing in yourself, and then doing the work to match your belief and your goals and showing up as such. The only thing holding you back from where you want to be is you and the work that you put in. And we're all capable. We all can do it. I can believe in you till my face turns blue and keep getting on these calls and trying to motivate and inspire you. But you guys have to do the work. You're your own boss. You're your own CEO. And I'm not here to manage you either as Amber. Like, we're here to support you. We're here to be a mentor. We're here to be a friend and a business partner. We're here to run with you. And what we want more than anything is for you guys to be unusually successful. We want you to be successful faster than we were. We want to see your business grow faster than ours did, because that makes us know that you guys are like doing this, that you guys are creating this dream life for yourself, that you're creating the income that you want for yourself, you're creating the results in your fitness that you want for yourself and everyone in your life. So thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you guys later.